All right, welcome back. Looking at more sketches. I can't remember which one this is, but I want to have 10-ish, and I think that's where we're headed, so we're off to a good start. Like I said, I try to be really disciplined when I have a goal in mind to get this done. So pretty much every morning, if I sit down and there's time, I'm going to sit down and just sketch, just with a cup of coffee and a pencil, and write stuff down. So write down what I'm thinking, figure it out later as far as if it's good or not. I don't think, again, this is, this is my philosophy really, teaching and talking about songwriting and I guess success, or whatever you want to call it. The success is really the discipline of finishing things. It's not really being famous or making money, because it's that those two things are completely relative to what other people think, and you really don't have any control over that. You could really try to create a really fantastic song, or even think of it as a product with a very specific aim. You could do that, but at the end of the day, if you're a songwriter, it's really the only thing that's really important is if you finish songs. It doesn't matter if they're good. It doesn't matter if they make sense, or they speak to anybody, or you even think that they mean anything to you. It's really just finishing things is what matters. So even if it's the worst possible thing, not finished, or even finished, it's still better than an unfinished thing. You could always learn something from, a tune that's not super great. I'm sure you could think of things you don't like and can think of reasons why they're not good. But can you do that with your own stuff? Most people can. Most people are very insecure about what they write, and worried about what every little phrase and stroke of pen or whatever. And I'm just not that way anymore. I really, I'm real disciplined about finishing things and not really being too caught up in what people think about it, because I just want to finish it. I don't even know artistically what I'm trying to say. It's usually pretty cerebral at that point, but it's really just getting it done. So, like I said, getting it done is a thing that matters above all things. So if you try to make a deadline for yourself, or you try to be disciplined every day at whatever time that makes sense, you brush your teeth, whatever, you do push-ups, you make a habit out of it, and it just gets easier, and it just grows over time. You get better at it all the time. So I can do this fairly easily, and the reason that I do it this way is only because of seeing people around me that could write faster and not really understanding how they could do it. And it wasn't really people in college. It was really people before that in like band situations. They could really push stuff out pretty quick. And I don't know if it was because they had more feedback from people they were playing with, or they were just more like, they're just more creative than me, or whatever, So I always was like a wait and kind of go fishing kind of songwriter, where I would wait for something to hit me and then write it. And I just don't do that anymore. I just think of it like a job. Like, I have to do it. I'm compelled to do it for whatever reason. It's definitely not fame or anything like that. It's really just, I don't know, I must have something to say, or maybe I don't. It doesn't really matter, I guess. So, okay, so this is this sketch anyway. So it's in G. I even wrote a little note about 16 bars in to go to B7, which means it's probably going to go to E minor. Right? I don't remember, which is kind of the fun of this, is that I don't really remember what I wrote, because I'm just playing music all the time, so it's really hard to kind of remember anything at this point. So anyway. C7. So it looks like it ends in G. I have some issues with some of the note choice that I used. So when it jumps to E minor, I don't know if I like that. I don't know. I don't know yet. That just sounds weird to me. I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote it, so. Now, here's a trick. This is a good songwriting trick. It's a good improvising trick too. If you hear something you don't like, do it again. So if you just do it again, somehow it'll make it make more sense, right? Because we're just creatures of habit. So if we hear stuff we like, then we like it. So if I don't like this, now I have the vocal line or the melody or whatever holding D over probably a G chord. Now if I put that same melodic move, this one, if I put it underneath the vocal line, like that, then it might sound okay. Because it's just those two things are dancing with each other, so it might work. So here it is. So if I do that, it sounds okay. I could put it there too. It'd be harder to do on the guitar. So that's one option. If I hit a line that I don't like, and I don't know what I was thinking at the time because I didn't really write anything else besides the line, so I don't know. I can't remember. I can change it, obviously. When I start marrying lyrics to it, I can change it, or I can be okay with it and then try to use it as a device. This is a good, I do woodworking too, and woodworkers do this thing all the time. If they make a mistake or they do something that they didn't plan on doing, sometimes that ends up being the highlight of the piece. And sometimes they mess up a measurement or something, then they got to glue something else into it to make it work, or they fudged something with a chisel, and then they had to fill it with something else. And then suddenly that makes it look like it's a good mistake. So we call those good mistakes. We do that with music all the time too, or you play a weird chord and, oh, what is this? I don't know. Who cares? Well, I don't know what the name of it is, but it doesn't really matter. We can figure out the name of it later. But for now, let's just use it, right? So for instance, let's say I take this, that line I don't like over E minor. Now, if instead of E minor, if it's C, it sounds fine. That wasn't my goal, though, was have it to be C, right? So maybe I can play A minor instead of C, because A minor and C are very, very close together. So. So that's another thing. Now, if it's I like A minor, maybe I can play A minor 6. And maybe that's a little too dissonant. Maybe not. If I like A minor 6, Now, if I do this this mental geometry, whatever you want to call it, of A minor 6 inverted is F sharp minor 7 flat 5. It's the same notes, they're just moved around, and you're just calling it something different, right? So if I use that chord and try to play, I don't know if I can play the line, but I can try. That totally changes everything. Now, if I didn't know what that was called and I just played it, right? We have a lot of names for all different kinds of things. It doesn't mean that it's all that important. I mean, yeah, having a big vocabulary, I guess, matters if you're, a college professor. But a lot of these melodies are very, very simple, because that's about the best I can do with no instrument in my hands, and limiting myself in that way. And then if I want to gussy up the harmony or add things that I know are common in music, then I can do that later. But that's one extra step that will slow me down if I just try to do that step at the same time. So I purposely stay away from it. So let's try this one again, I guess. What that's going to be. Here comes that thing we were just talking about. So there's that one. On to the next.